Hi, and welcome to the summary presentation of the spring 12th grade success session, just your second one of the year. It is an important one, though, as you'll find out going into your final year as a Blue Water Middle College student and maybe as an SC4 student as well. So it's important at this point that you're really taking control of your plans. Many of you have been doing that, but some of you still kind of just letting things play out, maybe choosing courses just because they worked out with your schedule and so on. So you don't want to let planning get away from you. This is an important time, especially as we look at registration for the fall. So what you want to do is make sure that you have a nice, smooth plan here, just like these dogs walking themselves down the street. Okay? So one of the things that's important to do, and we'll try to help you with it with the information in this session, is identifying your academic finish line. I believe for all Blue Water Middle College Academy students, you're all hoping to earn an associate degree at the end of next year. And of course, which degree you choose is up to you. Each student has different goals. And then once you get that in mind, the associate degree or transferable credits or both, or a job at the end, you want to set the shorter term goals that will get you there. Work with a team of supporters. You've got a team of supporters in the Blue Water Middle College Academy office. You've got supporters at St. Clair County Community College in the Advising Center and the Financial Planning Center for next year as you look beyond the Middle College. So there's all kinds of folks working to support you. So take advantage of us, and you'll end up being pleased with the result at the end. So this is all about making good plans and taking the steps right now as you go into your final year in the middle college to accomplish your goals. So the agenda of the session that was held April 5th, of course, included some news and updates. We spent a lot of time talking about fall registration and how to choose courses wisely. Spent a little bit of time discussing the Service Center and how to use that to register for courses and plan. By the time most of you who were not at the session view this video, you will have at least, I hope, selected and registered for some classes for the fall, maybe all 4 or 5 classes that you'll be taking. But the information in this session is still valuable. You should look at the courses that you've registered for and just still ask yourself, do they still make sense? And so definitely, just because registration has happened already for many of you doesn't mean it's time just to relax until next September, assuming you're in good shape. Okay? We're going to talk a little bit about researching future colleges, and that is because the fall application season will begin for you. For some students, they apply as early as August, so just a few months away, and others of you who are going on to a 4-year college or university should be applying, if not August, then September or October. So we'll talk a little bit about your plans. What do you need? A bachelor's degree in what area, and how to increase transfer success of your SC4 credits. We'll talk about some steps you can take to prepare for the college application process. If you do choose to apply over the summer, which is totally okay, just a couple of things you should know before you do that, because applying as a middle college student is just a little bit different than applying as a traditional student who would be doing so at the beginning of 12th grade. Okay, some news and updates. We're getting close to that time when textbooks and materials need to be returned. We'll begin accepting books and materials as early as Monday, April 22nd, but please don't return books you need to study for an exam. If you have 1 or 2 books that have been sitting around and your instructor has never asked you to use them, or maybe even said we're not going to use them, you are welcome to bring those to the middle college office. Make sure someone checks you off and highlights that you have returned the books. Okay, you don't have to bring them all in at one time, but it's up to you to make sure that we cross off the books that you turn in, so we don't come back later and say that you didn't turn them in. Sometimes it gets busy in here, but it's never too busy for us to take the time and for you to say, or ask, is it crossed off? So the final deadline for returning books is Friday, May 10th. That is 1 week after finals week. I strongly recommend that all your books and materials be turned in during finals week. What happens when the semester ends, finals are over, Students, and I understand, just find it difficult to come back to campus, especially if you live a long way away from SC4. So bring those books back. It has to be during business hours. So if you have evening classes or online classes, you've got to find time to bring the books back during business hours, which is 8 to 4:30. And again, ideally that week of finals, which ends on Friday, May 3rd. However, we will accept them as late as Friday, May 10th without fining you $25. Okay, so make sure you get it in before then. Little information as we get closer to grades being posted about academic warning status at SC4. If your SC4 GPA is below 2.0 at the end of this semester, you will be placed on what they call academic warning. That's an SC4 thing. That's not a middle college thing, but we also want our students to be above 2.0 as well. If your grade point falls below a 2.0 at the end and you're on academic warning, some consequences could hit you fairly hard in the winter semester, and that is, for example, if you don't bring that grade point average above 2.0 by the end of next fall semester, then you'll be placed on academic suspension at SC4. You will not be able to take college classes in the winter semester next year, and so in effect your Blue Water Middle College Academy career will be over, so you won't be able to take college. So if you get your GPA above a 2.0 at the end of this semester by trying really hard over the next couple of weeks and studying for finals, then you can kind of rest easy a little bit, and you'll know you'll at least be good for the next 2 semesters, which will be next fall and then the following winter of 2020. Okay, so work hard the next few weeks. Literally, a 1/100th of a point of your grade point can make the difference between being on academic warning or not. At this point, we may have a few students who have not yet placed into either English 101 or Math 104. Those are the lowest college level courses at SC4. In other words, the credits count towards an associate degree. Courses such as English 75, Math 75, Math 81 are considered developmental courses. They're courses designed to get students skills up to a level where they can succeed in English 101 or Math 104 or higher. So it's important to realize the middle college cannot pay for a developmental education course. We can help you try to place into a college level course where you would not have to take English 75 or Math 81. However, for some students, that's what they need. Their skills are a little bit lower than what they would need to get a strong grade in a college level class. And so it's the right thing to do for a lot of students. But if you need to do that, if you currently place into one of those courses, contact us, anyone in the middle college, to learn how you can prepare to retake the AccuPlacer test and test out of that. If not, we can also talk about the cost of the class to you or your family and how you would go about paying for that. Every year for the last several years, SC4 students have helped lead tours when the 8th grade students visit campus. They do that in May. You yourself probably first visited SC4 as an 8th grader because virtually every 8th grader in the county comes here in May or early June over the past several years. You guys now have the experience and the knowledge to take the students around campus. You don't have to be an expert in every building. The college has some cheat sheets you can use. And frankly, when you get into most of the buildings, there will be SC4 faculty there to lead the activities or provide the information. But if you can help, it would be awesome. Every year we have several Blue Water Middle College students who can help. We need you for one day only. That would be from 8 to 2 o'clock approximately. Actually, I think you can get here a little bit later than that, but basically plan on that. If you're still in high school, there are some dates that are earlier, mid-May actually. They're Wednesdays and Thursdays. You would be excused from high school, although if you're taking finals at that time, please don't get out of a final exam at your high school. Okay, you can work with a friend. I'll be sending out an email with a link to a simple Google form where you can pick your date. If you want to lead the tours with a friend, another middle college student, not just any friend, then make sure you put their name in at the bottom. And all we ask is that they also submit the survey form. Doesn't have to be at the same time, but then they include your name at the bottom. So talk to them first. Make sure you guys agree to do this the same day and everything. Okay, so I'll be sending out an email. Keep an eye out for that in the next week or two. One other activity and event, the Blue Water College Access Network is hosting a career panel on the topic of energy and environmental careers. There's a lot, as you can see from this graphic, in terms of the electrical grid, if you will. You see a wind turbine superimposed over that, and Michigan actually has a lot of wind farm areas up in the thumb. And so there's a lot of jobs related to energy and environmental engineering and so on. So if you want to learn more about that, there is a panel, a career panel, on April 25th at the St. Clair County RESA in Marysville. It is a weeknight. There's no cost to this. At the end of the evening, they'll draw a name from the students who are there, and there's never that many students, definitely less than 100, and maybe it could be 50 or 60, which gives you a pretty good chance of earning a scholarship. They're going to pick one name for a $500 scholarship. Okay. If you're interested in this, do register. Let them know you're coming so they know they have enough room. I don't know if you can see it, but the address to visit to do a free registration is bwcan.org. So bwcan.org. Okay. So that's a good opportunity. All right, some more news and information about your high school commencement. That's coming up for you, which is exciting. I hope you guys are having a great senior year. You do need to complete all your high school graduation requirements this semester to qualify to walk at your partner high school. And by now, since it's middle of April as I record this, you should know your status with regard to high school requirements. If you're not sure, contact Mrs. Barr or Miss Weimer, and they will be able to check and see what you needed to do this year, and if you're on track to do that. Of course, you do have to pass all your classes you're taking at the high school, or if you're using any college classes to fulfill those high school requirements, you have to make sure you pass them. Okay? Okay, so the majority of the success session on April 5th focused around looking ahead to your final year and choosing classes wisely for the fall. You only have 2 semesters left, and so we want to make sure you make the best choices possible so you can earn your associate degree by the end of next year, basically this time next year. There's a lot to consider. First of all, what courses do you need for your degree? Are there any prerequisite courses? In other words, I'll have a slide on this, but the simplest example is if you know you need to finish English 102 for your degree and you haven't taken English 101 yet, you have to make sure you take English 101 in the fall. There are a few other examples of prerequisites that you have to know what those are so you don't find yourself winter semester not being able to take a course that you need for your degree. And then another key thing you should consider, especially for students who are looking to enroll in a 4-year college or university next year, the following year, is what courses will transfer to your possible next step schools, and so you can maximize credit transfer and the saving of time and money. And one final thing to consider that we'll talk about is the need for students to complete a math-related course for high school graduation. So because, we'll get into this more, but because you're going into a grade 13, you need to take a math-related course, complete a math-related course next year to get your high school diploma at the end of next year from the Blue Water Middle College Academy. So we're going to talk about all these things in the next few sections of this session. What you don't want to be is that student that ends up just 1 or 2 courses or maybe 1 or 2 credits short of your degree next May by not making a wise choice in the fall. So you need to look at the courses that you need, how many credit hours do you need, and make sure that you're getting enough in the fall and taking the courses in the fall that will allow you to complete everything in the winter. You don't want to be the student who can't finish on time because you didn't take a prerequisite needed for a required course this year. So hopefully most of your prerequisites are underway, but there definitely are some that still may be out there for you, and we'll talk about those in a few minutes. And finally, don't be that student that could have saved literally tens of thousands of dollars and a year of time if you'd researched classes that were sure to transfer, but you didn't. And so every class that you can complete at SC4 successfully with a C or better literally will save you between $1,500 and $2,000 at a university. That's every class, so it adds up quickly. Well, when it comes to courses needed for your degree, the first thing to consider, we say that it's on your shoulders. In other words, everybody, there are so many different plans and programs at SC4 and so many different ways of fulfilling the requirements for those degrees that it's up to the student to know what their target is, what degree you want, and then try to develop this plan, but also take advantage of the folks and the tools that are available to help. That includes the St. Clair County Community College academic advisors who are located in the Welcome Center. That includes us, the Middle College staff. I have met with a lot of students. All of us have the last couple of weeks. We've been very busy with that, and that's a great sign. But there's a lot of students we have not met with. And you can do that anytime. You don't have to do it right around registration time. If you want to have us double check your plan sometime in June when everything kind of slows down a little bit, we can do that. And you can still make changes in your schedule at any time through the summer. If you just like working on your own, trying to make a plan, if you go to the My Progress tool in your service center, that shows you what credits you need, how many credits you need. It can be a little tricky to use if you're not that familiar with it. So again, come and get help with that as well. Just send us an email. We'll set up a time and we'll help you see how to use that tool. In the lower left of the screen, I just put up these things, these tools, the Program of Study template, graduation worksheets, and the Michigan Transfer Agreement worksheets, and I'll show you where to get those in just a minute. Actually, before I forget that, I think I'm going to do that right now. So I'm going to go out to the web, and I'm going to go to our website, the bluewatermiddlecollege.org site. I'll refresh it one time. Okay. Under current students, of which you are, there's a choice called Planning for Your Degree. Okay, so I'm going to click on that. And a couple of things that I talked about you can link to from this page. I won't read all of the text word for word, but this program of study planning sheet, if you've ever met with me, or I assume any of the others here, you very well may have filled out this form. As a matter of fact, one of the things we're going to need you to do is when we send an email to students who did not attend the session, we're going to include a PDF of this form, and we need you to fill out as far as you can, all the way through the end of year 13, as best you can, and return that to us, because that's a way that we can see that you've thought about what you need. If you need help filling that out, just be in touch with one of us. But just so you know, if you want to print a copy of this, you click on that link, and there you go. So in this case, then you can just print this out. Okay? So that's there on that Planning for Your Degree page. I want to show you what else is here just while we're here. There's some information, the things we're kind of talking about in this session, what to consider. There is a great video on how to use the Service Center. Ms. Weimer leads you through that. So if you click right here on SC4 registration, it's video 2. There are 3s there, but that middle one is the one that talks about how to use those tools to help plan for your degree. So I won't do that in this session, but you can find a nice, I think it's maybe 15-minute video on how to use the My Progress tool and the tools within your Service Center. And then finally, other planning documents and tools. Again, I'm not going to read all the text, but I'm going to click here where it says Planning Documents and Tools. And this takes us back to a page in our old website where we're posting planning worksheets. You guys, as 12th graders, enrolled in 2017. So, for example, if you're pursuing the Associate in Arts and you click on this, this will be the worksheet showing the requirements for the Associate in Arts for students using the 2017 catalog year. We have gone through these in the past, so I think you should be pretty familiar with how to check off what you need. Read the directions carefully. So where it says, for example, humanities, 6 credits required, write down how many credits each of your classes were, and then just when you've met that, put a check there, and you've completed that. So what you want to look for once you've filled everything in is what is still left, and make sure you've got plans for that. Okay. One other document I want to show while we're out here looking at the planning documents is the Michigan Transfer Agreement requirements. So again, if you've met with me or any of us, we often will have students look at this Michigan Transfer Agreement worksheet, and basically you fill them in. It says 2 courses in social science from 2 different disciplines, so Political Science 101, for example, write it in. You do have to have gotten a C or better in the class, or you can't include it on this worksheet. Okay, so if you got a D, for example, in one of your social science classes, then you need one more social science class with a C or better to fulfill that requirement, if you will, for the Michigan Transfer Agreement. Okay, so there's things you can do on your own, but we always recommend coming and meeting with us or an SC4 advisor for either of those things. So there's some other documents you can see here. I'm not going to click on all of them. And we keep adding new worksheets and taking away old ones as our cohorts graduate. But so that's the scheduling documents that we have posted. And again, this is from the current students and planning for your degree. Okay, and this is SC4 registration is that page on how to register, and there's several videos there that Ms. Weimer posted. Okay, so let's go back to the presentation. And let's get it going here. All right, I'm hoping this is working. All right, so now you've seen some of the resources. Let's talk a little bit about prerequisite courses. So we were talking about the courses needed for your degree. So that's the first thing you need to consider. The second one is, are there any specific courses that you need to take now, or in the fall, I should say, that allows you to then complete everything with winter semester? So some common examples of prerequisites. I already mentioned English 101. You need to complete that before you take English 102. Those of you going into the business field or for one of the business degrees, if you have not taken Accounting 211, you need to take that in the fall so you can take Accounting 212 in the winter. Both those courses are required. Another course and prerequisite, if you will, are the Economics 221. Used to be called Business 221. You have to complete that in the fall if you want to take Econ 222 in the winter. And Bio 271, Anatomy and Physiology, you need to complete that with a C or better to take Bio 272. If you really need those 2 courses, let's say you're preparing for the nursing degree and your grade in Bio 271 was a C minus or a D, then you can retake Bio 271 to get the C or better. Okay, that's okay. So know what you need. Don't just plan one semester at a time. Go out at least 2, and that's where that program of study, that calendar-looking sheet, is helpful. So you put your final courses on the far semester, and then you kind of work back through your prerequisites. Okay, and here's that sheet again. This is just another version of it that we have, but the really important part is up here. This is just a sample how to use it. Okay. So a little bit more about prerequisites. If, as we talked about earlier, if your English SAT score does not place you into English 101, so I guess the point is to check your SAT score, because that may place you into English 101 if your AccuPlacer score did not. You can find your test scores, your SAT scores, in the test summary section of your service center. Now, if you look and you see a score is 22 out of 40 in the English, and you're not sure where that places you, then just send an email to me or one of us, and we'll quickly get back in touch with you and let you know where that places you. Okay, and that's what it says right here. So if you're unsure about your placement and you have not already taken English 101 or Math 104 or 110 or so on, contact one of us, and we'll let you know where you stand. Okay, the charts are, if you want to again do this on your own more, some people just like trying to get as much done by themselves. There is a webpage, sc4.edu/counselors, and you will see a link to the Accuplacer and SAT placement charts there. Okay, so counselors, and we can use those charts, but they're okay for you to look at as well. Okay, here's an example of the Accuplacer chart. If you retake the Accuplacer now, it's going to be different. The scores are not going to be identical because they've gone to what's called Accuplacer Next Generation. So this will let you know where you stand based on your Accuplacer test that you took a couple of years ago, or if you retook it, prior to the last couple of months. But just recently, they shifted over to Accuplacer Next Generation, and these scores are not identical. But they still can be used to place you into a higher math or English class. The new test can. All right, so now another important consideration when choosing classes. So you've looked at what do I need for my degree? What prerequisites do I need? Now we're going to look at what courses will transfer to universities. And there's absolutely no way of saying for sure which course is going to transfer to a university unless you know the following. What career you want to pursue, and what level of education is required. Now, we're assuming if you're going on to a university and considering transferring, that your career requires at least a bachelor's degree, or at least you want to earn a bachelor's degree to be able to do what you want to do, your career. So then it comes down to what bachelor's degree are you seeking? And these are some things you might not be aware of. You might say, well, I don't really know what they call it. And sometimes they call it, different schools call it different things. But it's important for you to know that. And one of the things you have to do is start narrowing down what colleges or universities you may want to attend. I realize that you may think you want to attend either Western, Central, or Eastern Michigan universities, but that may change depending on where you get accepted, or you might learn about a new school over the coming months. But at least have some in mind, and then you can start researching what degrees they have, and then ultimately you can get to what courses do you need at those new schools, and what will transfer, from SC4 to fulfill those requirements. Okay. Many of you would still have access to Career Cruising, so if you can log in, narrow down or zoom in on the careers that you really think you want to do, and there will be a link called Education, and you click on that and you can dig deeper into the types of majors that you need, and then even what schools offer those in Michigan, and then you can actually go to other states if you want. So Career Cruising has a lot of this information. And if you want help with that, again, we'd be glad to sit down and help you learn how to use that tool. We've presented it before, and I know you get Career Cruising at your high schools, but if you need a refresher, and now is really a time to focus on this, stop in and let us know. So how do you find out what will transfer? Well, part of it is just simply researching on your own, or with help if you need it, using college websites. And in a second, we're going to go to MSU's site just to give you one example of how to find out, what course might transfer. So we're going to do that in just a second. You simply can search via Google, or if you get to your university's website, in the upper right, there's usually a search box or a magnifying glass, search glass. If you just type in transfer guide or transfer guide and Central Michigan University, you may get lucky and get a hit that gets you right to where you need to go. But what I'm going to do is go back out to the web. We're going to go to Michigan State's site just as an example of how to find out some courses that may or may not transfer from SC4. Okay, so I've gone out now to Michigan State's home page, msu.edu, and again, this example was based off of working with a student just a couple of weeks ago. It was right before the success session, so I used this as an example of what you could do. I didn't know ahead of time, what she wanted to look at, but I can just show you how at any school you can use a similar process. So we went to the school's webpage, and we went under academics, and most pages will have a link that says academics or programs or something like that. So I'm hovering over that, and then I see majors, degrees, and programs. So anything like that is a good way of getting to where you want to go. We weren't exactly sure what she wanted to look at. She wants to go into medicine. So we were looking at something like a pre-med program. With a little searching, and there are just many, many dozens, and if not hundreds, I'm sure at Michigan State of programs, and you can see there, well, 504 if you look down here. So there's all kinds of them. Rather than go through them all one at a time, we ended up typing in medicine, and actually medical came up better. So here are some related programs that have the word medical in them. And when you do this, it's of some value because sometimes it gives you ideas of things to study you hadn't even thought about. So biomedical engineering. Now off to the right, in this case at MSU, it has the level, and you guys will be pursuing undergraduate degrees. Master's and doctoral are what's called graduate school, and you can't get to those until you get a bachelor's degree. So here's one, biomedical lab science. He was not interested in that. We kept scrolling down and found pre-medical. So that's what she was looking for. So we clicked on that. And let's see if I have to hit it again. Let's try it again. All right, so there we are. Now, we're reading just a little bit. It says freshmen and sophomores may select the pre-medical program in the College of Natural Science as their major preference. Okay, so it talks a little bit about that. So in this case, what I'm going to do is click on View Courses. Remember, the reason we're doing this is to see what courses do I need at the university, and are there things at SC4 that can help, that I can take that will transfer to MSU. Okay? So as I scroll down now, I recommend that you read this information because it's very important. Sometimes it says you only need one of the following 5 classes, or it might say you need all of the following 5 classes, okay? So in this case, it says requirements for the pre-medical program, including, pre-osteopathy and all these things. It says a total of 90 credits in courses in the natural sciences, math, social sciences, etc., including courses that are used to satisfy the university requirements and the courses that are listed below. So basically what that is saying is you need all of these courses unless otherwise noted. So just real quick to take one example, what we did is we looked at MSU, it's BS 161, okay? So how do you know if there's anything at SC4 you can take to fulfill that requirement? Because if there's something that'll transfer there, then you're in good shape. Might as well take it here if it works. So I'm going to go to the Michigan Transfer Network site, and that's michigantransfernetwork.org, right up here, all one word. We've mentioned this before, and this screen may look familiar. Now, we know that we're talking about credits going to Michigan State, so I'm going to click on the search by the to institution, or the receiving institution. I'm going to click Michigan State University. Okay, the subject was BS, I assume that's Biological Sciences. Okay, and the course I believe was 161, and there it is. Now, over here, it will list all the colleges in the state of Michigan that have a similar course, but we want to find St. Clair County Community College. Because it's listed, that means they do have a course that equates to BS 161, so we'll find out what it is. Searching now. Okay. So what this says is BS 161 is cells and molecules at Michigan State. It's worth 3 credit hours. At St. Clair County Community College, the same course would be Bio 110. That's known as cellular biology here, and it's also worth 3 credits. So this indicates that if you want to fulfill that requirement, take Bio 110 next year, get a C or better, and you should be all set. You've saved yourself $1,500 in one course at SC4. So this is just one example of going to college websites, a website, finding the program that you're interested in and the courses needed for it, and then looking to use this tool to find out, is there something I can take? Now, it may be a course that you can't take. You don't qualify. There's not time in your program. And so be it. You'll have to take the course at the university, but you want to try to get as many of these as you can. So I'm going to go back to the presentation, and we'll go on. Just one moment. Okay, so the next thing to consider certainly is that any of us, in terms of transferability, can help you. And especially the SC4 academic advisors. That's one of the key roles that they play at the college, is to help students who are transferring onto a university. That's a reason that a lot of students attend SC4, is to earn credits that will transfer onto a university. So make an appointment with them. Just let them know you want to talk about transfer of courses, and they'll be able to help you. And then the other thing are the requirements for the Michigan Transfer Agreement, which I mentioned those earlier in the presentation when we went to that worksheet. What the MTA is basically a collection of 30 credits that Michigan colleges have agreed to accept. If you're pursuing the SC4 Associate of Arts and the Associate or the Associate of Science transfer degrees, the requirements meet almost all of the MTA requirements. There are one or two ways that you can miss out on the MTA. One is by not getting C's or better in all the classes that are part of it. And there's things such as taking speech as one of your humanities. Speech 101 counts for the SC4 degree, but Speech 101 does not count as a humanities for the MTA. So some little things to keep in mind. And we've already done this, so this indicates we're going to go to the MTA requirements, but we already looked at that sheet. It's in the scheduling docs and links page. So I'll let you do that and contact us if you have questions. Career cruising, we've talked about that, getting to the education level of your career and diving into that. And then I showed you how to go to a university site, try to find that program, and then try to find the courses that will transfer. If you can find what's called a transfer guide, that's really great because it tells you exactly what courses at SC4 right there on that website. Oakland University, Wayne State University are examples of schools with really nice transfer guides. Okay. One other resource that you can use to help you identify your career goals is the Career Coach at SC4. So you go to sc4.edu/career coach. It will help you identify careers if you're still uncertain. If not, it'll help you learn more about the career. If you know what you want, just type it in. And it also has local job postings. So sometimes that's kind of interesting to see, well, if I went into this career, what kinds of jobs would I be able to pursue? And some of them might even be part-time that you can do. You can start next year or this summer. Okay, and here's a screenshot of Career Coach. You can search just by typing it right in, or there's assessments similar to Career Cruising where they can give you ideas of what you might want to do based on answering a few questions. Okay? So now the final requirement that we talked about in terms of looking at picking classes for the fall or for next year is this final year high school math requirement. Students must successfully complete a math-related class in their final year of high school, which is grade 13 for you guys. It can be an MTH course at SC4, such as Math 104, Math 110, Math 120, but it doesn't have to be. It could be a course that includes a lot of math, such as accounting, physics, electronics, astronomy. We have a list of courses that you can ask us if you're not sure. We'll let you know if that would count as the final year math course. If you've already completed the math you need for your degree and you did that this year, that's okay. That's a good thing. But we do have an option for you because we do need all students to complete an online, or not an online, but a math course. We have an online course called Financial Math that can be used to fulfill that final year math. It's not a long course. It's not a college course. It is something, though, that you would need to do. So just contact us about your options if you're unsure about that final year math course. Okay? So final things just to review when choosing classes. If you've already chosen your classes, go back and look at them again, within the context of the things we've just talked about. Again, know your prerequisites. Get your 62. Don't come up short. And keep in mind, if you took a developmental class, such as English 75 or Math 81, those credits don't count towards your 62. So the My Progress bar might say that you're going to be at 62, but you have to subtract any credits you earned for a sub 100 level course. Okay. Be careful taking too many online courses. Those can be difficult. If you've never taken any, or maybe you've taken one and it went pretty well, doesn't necessarily mean that 3 or 4 are going to go well. So be real careful about taking too many online courses. Face-to-face is usually better, although sometimes an online course can help you get the schedule that you want and the courses that you need for your degree. Also, be careful about not stacking too many classes on one day. Now that you guys don't have high school, you could start in the morning and basically go, all day on Mondays and Wednesdays. But that's very risky because sometimes several things are due. Important things may be due all on the same day, and that gets pretty tough. So be careful about that. And one of the reasons students do like to stack classes is so they can work on the other days. But be careful about that. As you might see at the bottom of the screen, earning extra dollars as a trade-off and getting poor grades is a poor trade. So, in other words, taking an extra shift or two and then that doesn't allow you to study, and suddenly a grade drops below a C and it won't transfer, or you fail it and you can't complete your degree. That was a really poor trade-off economically. So be careful about that. Okay. So a quick review of the registration process. It is now open, and the session we held a few days before fall registration opened. The fall classes, of course, are viewable. Use the Service Center tools to plan. You don't need to register for all your classes at once, but the sooner the better is good, because that way you have a seat in the courses that you need, especially if they're absolutely the course that's required for your degree. Okay? Use the Service Center as a tool for planning. We've talked about this. There is that video that I mentioned that you can link to if you're unsure of how to do it. It's worth spending another 15 minutes just to see how all the good tools there and how they work. Okay. Check your course placement. We've talked about that. And there's a video for actually completing the registration process. Okay, at this point, what we did is we filled out the Degree Planning 101 worksheet, and on the back side of it was the Program of Study sheet, kind of that calendar-looking view where you put the courses in for each semester. That's going to be something that you will do as one of the assignments related to this session. Everybody did it at the session, and we need you to do it, and it'll be part of the email link to this video. The sheets need to be filled out. You did this about a year ago as 11th graders, and we're doing it now, and hopefully you should just be that much farther along in your planning. You're going to need either scan or take a clear photograph and send that to Ms. Weimer, or you can drop it off in the Middle College office. Okay, the last section of the success session had to do with kind of an exciting topic, applying to future colleges. As I mentioned at the very beginning, that's going to start pretty soon for most of you, within a few months. The college application season begins in the summer, late summer, early fall. That's when schools begin accepting applications for the following fall. But there are things you can do this spring and summer to be ready for that. So first of all, you want to research any colleges or universities that you might be interested in attending. Some of you have a pretty good idea of where you want to go and have already been checking out their websites for course transfer and so on. But if not, again, use Career Cruising. There are other sites that can be used to research colleges, but visit their website once you narrow it down to, let's say, Grand Valley, Wayne State, Michigan State, and just explore the websites. Especially try to find the areas and the programs that you'd be pursuing, because they're going to have a lot of information there, and you'll get some good ideas, and you might find that you really like that school even more, or it's like, that doesn't sound right for me. They have virtual tours, and as we've talked about, you can check the programs. Do they have what you want or what you need for your career? But a key thing is visit the school if you can this summer. I know a lot of them are an hour, 2, 3, 4 hours away, but in the summertime, it's probably going to have to be a weekday, although some have Saturday visits. But you're going to need to get in the car and either with mom or dad or maybe another friend who's interested in that same school, go there, visit the school, and call for a full tour, the full experience, or in some cases you can do that. You can reserve online. But rather than just driving up to the Grand Rapids area and driving through Grand Valley's campus or walking through it, schedule some time to have someone take you through and talk to you about the school. You can always just explore it on your own afterwards or before, but I really recommend getting the full tour. And again, go with one of your parents or with a friend if that helps. So a little bit about applying now. We're going to have a much more detailed success session early next year. It'll either be, usually it's late August or very early in September. And we explain the college application process to students because there is a particular way that middle college students should apply. However, I know that some of you will get started and will want to get started before then, and that's fantastic. So keep in mind a couple of things. When you apply, you're applying as a freshman because that's one of the first questions they're going to ask you in the application. You're not a transfer student, even though you're going to be transferring dozens and dozens of credits to the university. Apply as a freshman, and that keeps you eligible for freshman scholarships and things like that. Your high school is the Blue Water Middle College Academy, so you'll be asked to find or search for your high school. It's the Blue Water Middle College, okay? It's not Port Huron or Memphis or Yale or whichever school you're going to be, quote unquote, graduating from in just a matter of weeks. They do not have your full transcript, your complete transcript. They will not be graduating you. The middle college will be. So make sure you put down us as your official high school. Okay, I recommend retaking the SAT. Many of you have good scores, but maybe I think you can do better. And that really impacts not only getting accepted into colleges, but also scholarships. And I've talked to you guys about this a year ago in terms of trying to motivate you to study or practice the SAT before you took the one in 11th grade. I would definitely recommend that you retake it this spring, and I'll let you know what date might be a good one. If you have retaken it since the 11th grade test about a year ago, let us know so we can update your transcript and send the best score report that you have to colleges in the fall. We do include your SAT score from the 11th grade test on your transcript, but we can change that if you earned a better score since then. Okay? So, obviously, it doesn't take much to make a big difference in your score. If you're at 1040 or 1050, just 50 points puts you at 1100, and that can make the big difference between scholarships or getting into the colleges that you want. So, needless to say, retaking it can make a difference. Should you retake it? Yes, probably. You've likely improved as a reader and a writer over the last year and taken at least one more math class. And you've experienced the test at least once. Experience does help. And if you're willing to practice, use the Khan Academy site or the College Board practice test, your score will almost certainly go up. If it does go down, that doesn't hurt you. The colleges look at your highest score, so don't worry about that. So to take it, you sign up at collegeboard.org. I'm not going to demonstrate that right now, but it's really not that difficult. And just see one of us if you need help, if you're unsure of how to find the SAT on that site or how to sign up for it. This test, the registration deadline has passed, the May 4th test. But another good one for 12th graders is June 1st. That's a Saturday. You have until May 3rd to register. The cost is... I think I have it here. Yeah, $47.50, and you do not need to redo the essay, the handwritten essay. You don't need to do that. So the June 1st or the August 24th dates of testing are both good ones for the fall application season because you'll get your scores back within a few weeks after the test, and they'll be available to the colleges and universities that you're applying to. Okay? So they're not done locally. Once in a while, SC4 will host the SAT, but you may have to drive, a little ways to get there. Armada High School often tests. Grosse Pointe North, which is down on the east side of Detroit, they often test. And you can go to any site, testing site. Again, it's a Saturday morning when the tests are given. Okay? Should you practice? Yes. Obviously, the College Board site and Khan Academy are free, and there's more practice and information than you can possibly use. But if you don't use any of it, then that's foolish. There is an SAT prep page on our website, and it links to the Khan and College Board and gives you information on practice sites. So if you go to the bluewatermiddlecollege.org under current students, click on SAT prep, and that'll link you to those resources. Okay? So that ends the session. There will be a few things that you need to do, primarily including your updated program of study, and as far as you know it right now, that helps us help you in this coming final year, and to help evaluate your college transcript and hopefully give you ideas of what you might want to take in the coming year. Okay, so just let us know if you have any questions. We'll be glad to help. I don't know if you can see this on the on your screen, but it says the student, Mr. Osborne, may I be excused? My brain is full. So I'm sure yours probably is as well. That's a lot of information, but it's important information. Okay, thanks.